It's the TRYLOSOPHY podcast. Podcast on the go. Let's get into it. Let's talk some boxing. Last Saturday, we had Jaime Munguía versus Liam Smith. The fight went all 12 rounds. Really didn't think that was going to happen. I thought, like a lot of people, thought Munguía was going to drop. Just knock out Liam Smith. Me personally, like 8th round maybe, KO, TKO. He did drop Liam Smith in the 6th round. Liam Smith, he's a tough customer. Can't take anything away from that guy. He's a true 154 pounder. He's going to be a true 154 pounder, unlike Saddam Ali. Saddam Ali is more a welterweight, at 147. But for Munguia's first WBO title defense, I believe this gave him a lot of. He went up against a tough veteran. Liam Smith, he's only lost to Canelo. And for the young men's, the 21-year-olds, first title defense, that's a good fight for him. And I'm sure he gained a lot of experience. His trainer saw what they need to work on. The guy's pretty long. He's tall. He loaded up on his punches a lot. Too much power shots, it seemed. He was trying to get him out of there, straight up. And, he put him down in the 6th. And what I did notice, he didn't go right after him. He was very careful, making sure that he didn't walk into any kind of trap also. I don't know. It was, from what I remember. This fight also, Keith Idek of BoxingScene.com reported on Twitter yesterday that the peak viewership for Munguía versus Smith was at 827,000 viewers, I believe. That's a lot of people that's a lot of viewership for relatively two non-superstars and on a non-pay-per-view card. I think that's pretty impressive, and that Munguía is not very known in the public eye, the casual fans' eyes. Liam Smith, he's from the UK. The UK tends to stand behind their champions and their fighters. They're a lot more invested in boxing. Boxing is a lot more popular in the UK than it is in the whole United States at the moment, and probably will always be. Moving on. Earlier that day, we had Oleksandr Usyk versus Murat Gassiev competing in the World Boxing Super Series final and competing to become the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world and for the Muhammad Ali trophy. Oleksandr Usyk simply outclassed Murat Gassiev, and he became the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world for the first time in history in the cruiserweight class. So, I thought Gassiev was going to stop this fight. I thought he was going to stop Usyk probably by the 8th or 9th round. I believed Gassiev, his power, if he landed a couple, it would be too much for Usyk to withstand. The guy has tremendous power, and Usyk is out there just boxing around. He was winning every round with jabs, controlling his distance, moving, a lot of movement, going left, going right. The guy showed true class. So what's next for these guys? Oleksandr Usyk won all the belts, the undisputed champion at cruiserweight. He won the tournament. He got the Muhammad Ali trophy. So what is there next to do? I mean, that was like in his 16th fight, I believe. 16-0, the guy. So I think he would do very well in the heavyweight division. He did call out Tony Bellew after the fight. Tony Bellew accepted his challenge, and Tony Bellew yesterday, I believe he said that would be his last fight for his career. Like, that'll be his retirement fight, and that he believes that he can knock out Usyk. I don't know if that fight would be at a catch weight, if that would be at heavyweight. Cruiserweight, as we all know, is at 200 pounds. Yeah, I think he'd do very well. He's very technically sound, the guy. Yeah, it'd be interesting to have him in the heavyweight mix. Also, Gassiev, he has the power to be competing at the heavyweight level. I mean, you could stay at cruiserweight, but for both of these guys, if they went up in weight and competed at heavyweight, I mean, that's where the money is. The heavyweight class has always been the most popular, or one of the most popular weight classes ever. You know, we had Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Having those two guys in the heavyweight class would spicing things up. You'd have two really good champions, two really good boxers joining that whole mix there. You have Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, then Gassiev, if he went, Oleksandr Usyk, Povetkin, and there are plenty of other fighters. Luis Ortiz. I mean, there's a lot of top guys there, and this would just make that mix a lot better, I think. And just fun to watch. You can make more combinations of fights with adding those two guys in there. So I believe that's where they're going to go. Moving on, we have Eddie Hearn. Well, before this, okay, now for any boxing fan, now you have to the future is now. The future is now the present. So you have 4 streaming services to watch boxing. So now, depending on either, if you could afford all 4 every month, then good for you. It's just, or if you can't, you might have to pick and choose. If you want to see Lomachenko, I mean, he'll be on regular at ESPN. I don't know if they'll put him on ESPN Plus, but you'll have the top ranked guys on ESPN Plus exclusively. But Bob Arum has, he will work with other promoters and put his guys on other cards. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he has done already. Showtime, if you want to see Mikey Garcia, if you want to see the PBC guys, Leo Santa Cruz, you have a lot of fighters at Showtime, and they're going to exclusively fight there. So, you have your HBO cards, which HBO is kind of it's more like a subscription you have to pay through your cable service, as their apps they don't stream live events on their apps at the moment. And finally, we have DAZN. DAZN is Eddie Hearn. It'll feature Eddie Hearn's cards that he's working with DAZN. He's made a couple of signings. Some guys previously with PBC. It looks like we have Jesse Vargas, Demetrius Andrade, who's going to be fighting Billy Joe Saunders, so that's already a good fight already. Anthony Joshua. If you want to see Anthony Joshua, you got to pay for the zone. So now, and you have Big Baby Miller over there, and I mean, one of the first signees was Daniel Jacobs, but looks like he'll be still fighting on HBO. At least he signed up, I believe, for the next fight, and then after that, he should be the zone all the way. But let's break this down. So you have DAZN at $9.99 a month, ESPN Plus at $4.99 a month, HBO, we'll just say $11 a month, Showtime, $11 a month. Put that all together with just some regular tax. I don't know if there's any other service fees, hidden fees, but let's just put that at $40.21. That's a lot of money. That's straight up another bill. Especially for, I mean, if you just want to, watch boxing. DAZN it has an exclusive deal with Bellator. So if you want to see MMA, I mean, they have a lot of other sports on some, like ESPN Plus has a lot of other sports. Not only boxing, but they have a bunch of other sports that you can watch. DAZN as well. That's what it's looking like. But I mean, at $40 just as a throw out there a number, that's kind of a lot, especially if you're a boxing fan. One question I'd like to ask: I don't know if there's subscriptions or certain services that several people can be logged into the same account at a time. You could, like Netflix, for instance, Netflix. You can have two people on their basic plan that can watch at the same time on the same account. How does that work? I mean, can you do the same thing with the Showtime app, the ESPN Plus app, DAZN, HBO? Well, let's take HBO out of there. That's three of them. But I mean, if you're a boxing fan and you have a couple buddies or cousins or brothers or sisters or whoever that all like boxing as well, where all this is going now as far as the streaming services go. So now you're going to have to, you could perhaps all pitch in monthly. I mean, that could be either a little tricky, or, I'll pay the bill this month, you pay the bill next month, and if you can, we'll watch it at your house this day, and then this one at the other house the other day. I mean, an idea, it's pretty much like a cable service package. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe they should do. I don't know if anybody's presented this or not. But if you could get all four, if you get all four, at a discounted price of maybe $33 a month, would more people be inclined to buying a bundle package like that where you have all four? Could these companies come together and make some kind of deal where it discounts each service monthly, and you would get a discount if you purchased all of them? Could that work? Or if you paid for the year for all four. Let's take HBO and Showtime out of there, because DAZN and ESPN Plus are pretty much strictly apps, and HBO and Showtime are kind of more premium channels. But a cable service is going to sell you HBO and Showtime together, so that could be a little tricky. But if you get DAZN and ESPN Plus, together that's maybe $17 around there a month. If you get that, if you purchase those two together in some kind of bundle, or you could pick and choose, those two together maybe $12 a month.